I've never found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. To my right is Lucas, all the way from the US of A, and Dan, the bottom of the shop, is Mitchell, all the way from Gidea Park, Romford. Mitch, how are you doing? Are you enjoying the World Cup? Take it away. Are you hungover from last week? Let's put it like that.
No, but my throat is fucked from it still.
Yeah.
Really bad. Like, it's got worse each day as it's gone on, and now it's just fucked. I'm good. I've enjoyed the World Cup. It's been as good as I probably would have thought it'd be. Maybe slightly better actually. But because I had no hopes for this World Cup, I thought this World Cup was going to be a really shit World Cup. But there's been some good games. There's been some interesting results. England are doing well, and well, this is a massive game now on Saturday, and hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, I agree.
I've also really enjoyed none of the stresses of West Ham. Like, it's been really nice, and I've actually really enjoyed it. And I think, yeah, it's the nicest time I've had in terms of no stress.
Give that another 10, 12 days, and we're back to normality. Lucas, how are you, mate? How you find this World Cup? Your USA team bail out, but Croatia go marching on.
Yeah, I'm good. Like Mitch said, I've enjoyed it as much as you really can. I mean, I've enjoyed the football, but obviously it's hard to ignore other things around the World Cup and how we got to this point and what's going on. But besides that, footballing wise, it's been good. Some good results, some really good matches that I didn't expect. Happy the U.S. made it as far as we did. Happy that Croatia's still alive, and who knows, maybe we'll be in for another shock result tomorrow, which I'd be very happy for. But it's been interesting, and I'll tell you what, after seeing all the teams play, I feel like there's still one more shock result to be had, and I don't know who it's going to be from, but we will see.
Do you know what? I agree with that statement. I think one of the big boys might get bailed out somewhere along the line, either Argentina or Brazil.
I think, not going into too much, I really do think Morocco have a chance to do something special.
Yeah, I know. But we will talk about that later. Let's talk about this. I've asked you lads all week, just give me some players for your World Cup wish list for West Ham in January, right? And I'm going to start off with Mitchell on this one. Mitchell, I'm going to fire your video. I want you to talk us through your 3 players, and your time starts now.
Sofiane Amrabat, combative midfielder, is very good at getting stuck in and driving with the ball forward. He's a very good technical midfielder, which I think we could do with, especially if Rice is to leave. Now, I would like to get him in January because I think summer he'll be very sought after, and we need someone to come in straight away for Rice. And if Rice is to leave, which is very likely, he's the man, or one of the men. Tyler Adams is another one of them players. I think we need to definitely start looking at defensive midfielders or box-to-box midfielders, considering Rice is probably leaving. Tyler Adams, I think he's on the top of the Premier League stats for tackles, and he's shown those qualities in this World Cup so far. I think he's been excellent. His stamina, his athletic abilities, second to none, and he gets around the pitch so well. Hamid Kudus, someone we need. I think we need a really good, dynamic player in the middle. Queta's not dynamic enough. He hasn't got that killer strike. I've always said I want Queta deeper anyway. And Fornals isn't good enough either centrally, and obviously Vlasic chain and Lanzini's finished. And I think he's one of the top men we should be looking at that could add another depth to our attacks.
I agree on the Kudus one, 100%. I watched him all Ghana's games, and I thought he was brilliant.
I thought he was shit in the first game.
I don't know. I thought he was all right. Like, because what he does very, very well. Like, and if that's him being bad in the first game, wait to see what he's like when he's really bad.
Yeah.
But Lucas, what did you make of them 3 choices from Mitchell?
I like the 3 choices because I've always been a huge believer in not necessarily compatibility, but someone that can offer a bit more than what we're getting them for.
Yeah.
So for example, if I have a starting 11, there's only a few positions where I really want that position to be nailed on to do something specific. But with Amrabat, he can do a bit more than what people see. Kudus can do a bit more than what people see. He's not necessarily a 10. He can play 8. And then Tyler Adams, that's kind of the one area on the pitch where he does something specific very, very well. You don't need him to do more than what he has to do.
Kudus is not out of West Ham's reach. If Everton are going in for him, and what it is, someone said it on commentary that Everton tried to put a bid in for him. It got accepted, but something happened where they couldn't get the deal over the line in time or something. So I think Kudus would, out of all 3 of them selections, don't give him a bat. It's just been brilliant.
It's kind of like the same. It's kind of like the same thing with Paqueta. Paqueta is best utilized as an 8, but he can play a 10. But I don't want him to be shackled to being a 10.
Yeah.
And I think Kudus is more direct.
Yeah.
And he makes me more erect.
He is, I must admit.
And he's so pacey.
When Mitchell said, give me selection, I was like, bastard, you nicked one of mine. But I do like Kudus, mate. I think he's excellent, mate. I really do. Right, Lucas, your minute starts now.
All right, so I have attacked. These aren't even positions of need anymore. These are Mayday, Mayday. We need them now in January. This cannot wait till summer. Anthony Robinson would be the perfect solution at left back. He's got an absolute engine. He's fast as hell. He can get into important positions with and without the ball, and he just does not stop running. His crossing could be better. His passing in general could be better, but he is the kind of attacking left back that we need in the future. And the problem we have to address, Aaron Cresswell, move over. It is Anthony Robinson's time. He needs to get in this team immediately.
Any chance talking about Tomiyasu before he runs out of time?
Yeah, this isn't going to be very good. But Tomiyasu, again, he's going to be the complementary fullback to Anthony Robinson. Solid defensively, can get forward a little bit, but mostly he's just a complementary piece. Are we on the last one now?
Yes, we are.
I can't even remember who I said.
McKennie.
Another. It's going to run out of time, but I'm going to finish what I'm going to say anyway. McKennie again, another midfielder who he's the definition of an 8, and he offers more than what you see. He can get forward, he gets stuck in defensively, technically good, athletic, big,
and we've been
strong.
linked with him. We've been linked with him before, I think we linked to him
in the summer.
Yeah, we've been over the last 2 years. We've been linked with him. When he was at Schalke, I think it was, we was linked with him, and he went to Juventus, and he had a bit of a bad start to Juventus. We was linked with him again, so we've been linked with McKennie.
But again, he just, you put him in the middle of the park, he will literally do anything you need to do. He'll do the dirty work. He'll score some goals. He's good at set pieces, technically good, decent passer, athletic, big, strong, and the fact that he plays out wide for Juventus just shows how versatile he is. And I saw Richard's comment about Tomiyasu. I do sort of agree with that statement that I think he is a fullback, but he is most definitely an upgrade on what we have. Defensively, technically, he is decent with ball retention. And
with Dawson looking to go in January, that could cover 2 spots.
Exactly, and like I've said many times before, I like my fullbacks to complement each other. I don't want 2 fullbacks that are great defensively or 2 fullbacks that are great going forward, because that just creates an unbalanced attack and an unbalanced defense. I think Anthony Robinson and Tomiyasu would be a perfect duo.
Yeah, listen, I agree, mate. I agree. I always liked Robinson, even when he was at Wigan. West Ham should have got him out of Wigan before Fulham got him.
I wanted my list to be a bit more adventurous, but I myself for the longest time we have needed a new fullback, right and left, and then
I think Anthony Robinson's a great shout.
We obviously need to address the midfield position. We still need more. We still need more midfielders.
My go now, lads. I've only picked 2. Yeah, because Mitchell had the other one. Kudus. For me, Kudus
was on my list. I gave James 8 players because
I must admit, mate,
he didn't tell me how many I needed, but I just gave him 8.
Yeah, give me 8. So I'll do my list now of 2 players, and they start off with these, man. Buchanan, Canada.
Great shout.
Right, absolute baller of a player. Fast, direct, pace. He's only going to get better. Plays for Club Brugge. I like this kid. I watched enough of him for Canada to say, you know what? Yeah, he looks the real deal for me. His market value is 12 million, but he ain't going to go for 12 million. There's no chance of that. But if someone said to me right now, would you ever be at West Ham? 100%. But I will move over now to this man, Musa. Musa, for me, is the ideal replacement for Declan Rice, in my opinion. 20 years old, non-stop running. Yes, mate, 100%, mate. I like him, Mitch. Musa's excellent. Box to box, runs around, passes the ball good, plays for Valencia. He's used to Europe, and he's from Barking. So, yeah, Musa's the man for me, mate, 100%.
From Barking.
You know, it brings a tear in my eye seeing these Americans in your
I've got to be honest.
From Barking.
I've got to be honest. I like Musa, mate. Like, I thought he was excellent. I thought every game he played for the US, he was non-stop running. And the thing is, he's only 20 years old. So he's going to get better, isn't he? He ain't going to get any worse than what he is now. So, yeah, them 2 for me. Buchanan, if someone said to me right now, West Ham, we're going to go in for him and get him.
I love the Tejan Buchanan shout because I've been watching him since he's played for New England Revolution, the MLS, and there's 2 seasons. It was the season before last and then before that where New England Revolution were, without a doubt, the funnest team to watch in the MLS because they just scored so many goals. Like they were a guaranteed shout. Like they were free money if you were betting to score like over 3.5 goals. It was that bet was ATM worthy. You just go to that match, put in your money, you're getting a return. And Tejan Buchanan was one of the main reasons that was happening, just because he's so fast. He's good on the ball. He's not necessarily the greatest passer in the world, but he's not on the pitch to do that. He's there to blow by players and make simple passes and tuck it in back post.
What do you reckon on that, Mitch, on them 2 selections? I see you say about Musa with Declan. Obviously, Declan's world class, but Musa's not. But Musa can be a top player.
The thing is, if Rice is to go, you've got Dan, Souček. None of them are real proper defensive midfielders, which I think can really. I think you need someone like a Tyler Adams in there to just sit in front of the defence when you're sitting back and clean up like that Kante kind of player. That can also possibly go forward as well. Moose is a great box-to-box midfielder and can play on the wings, and would be great in the midfield 3, I think, like he does for USA. But I just don't think he's a Declan Rice replacement. He'd be a great player. Don't get me wrong. I would love him at West Ham.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's the perfect.
And I have to say, the Tyler Adams shout,
I think, is a great player.
The Tyler Adams shout as well is really good because if we're talking about someone to replace Declan Rice, he's our new captain now, and the fact that he was able to overtake Christian Pulisic as the captain says a lot, and that's no knock on Christian Pulisic. He's been a great captain. He's a good captain, but
he's finished now.
Tyler Adams just he has that it factor, what we call it over here.
Yeah,
Pulisic
I agree.
He's finished. He's finished.
I agree. Right, let's move on to the games, quarterfinals. Let's start off this one. 3:00 tomorrow. Lucas, I'll start off with you as your half Croat now. Now you've converted from the US to the Croats.
Yeah.
How do you see this game going tomorrow? Because obviously Brazil were excellent the other day against South Korea.
I think Brazil's lineup leaked a couple hours ago before I took my post-gym nap, and it's about the same as what it's been every other match. And it's going to be interesting. And I'm actually weirdly optimistic because, in my opinion, I don't think Croatia have played that well in this tournament, even against Japan. I don't think we were the better team at all. I thought it was a very even match, but I think Japan added a bit more threat to the game. But I'm weirdly optimistic because there's no shot. Actually, no. Our one good match was against Canada, but there's no way the odds say we play a 6th bad match in a row. Same with Luka Modric. There's no way Luka Modric plays that many bad matches in a row. So I'm actually thinking with my gambling brain and being optimistic that, you know what, we might actually have our best match tomorrow. I'm not saying playing our best is going to get us a win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think.
Well, I'm not going to lie. There's no way Croatia play as bad as South Korea. Not a chance. So I agree with you on that, Mitch.
And I'll be honest. You give me Brozovic, Modric, and Kovacic against anyone in the world, I'll go into war with them in the midfield. And we are so good at keeping possession that could be. That's like probably the only thing we can hang on is that we might be able to keep possession for, I won't say long periods of time, but more than necessary periods of time. So I'm hopeful. We don't have a gunman. We've always needed one. Hopefully someone steps up tomorrow.
I agree. Mitch, what do you make of this game, in your opinion?
Lucas is 100% bang on the money with the fact that the only chance they've got is just retaining the ball as best they can in that midfield. Steve, thank you very, very much. I love you.
Big up, Steve, mate. Thank you very much, man.
Top gaze.
Take it away, Mitch.
I think that if Croatia can hold that midfield and kind of win through the press, because Brazil will want to squeeze them as soon as Croatia get that ball in midfield and they start progressing up the pitch. Brazil won't be probably the least sitting back team in the World Cup, or one of, and they will just want to squeeze them straight away. And I think Croatia are going to struggle with that. I don't think, because when they do pass it forward, the quality ain't really there in the final third. And then I think intelligent players like Brozovic and Modric, they'll realise, if I pass it to Perisic in this tight area, is he going to be able to spin his man? No, he's not. They're going to be at odds. I think they're going to really struggle. But
I'm going to ask you a question. When you look at that midfield, you look at Modric, Brozovic, Kovacic, isn't it?
Kovacic,
that's the one. Yeah, all the Viches, right? When you look at Paqueta, them boys could bully Paqueta really in a way, and Casemiro.
I think no, but it's not necessarily a man-to-man matchup that people look at. It's the way Brazil press.
Yeah, I agree.
Will press. They will squeeze them. I think whoever plays in that number 10 position will be constantly running down their men, and Croatia will have to move the ball constantly all the time if they're going to have any luck.
And I think
Casemiro is an animal. He's a fucking incredible player. He's one of, if not the best number 8s in the world. And physically, that's where Croatia in the midfield would struggle. Physically, they're all skinny as fuck. And Casemiro would bully him.
I don't know. You've got to realize they're Balkan bastards. They don't need strength. They do what they want.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie.
Did you see Brozovic's other match? He's not dirty, but he's just got that Balkan attitude where he will literally elbow anyone at a given time. It doesn't matter.
When you come up against Casemiro, he's going to go through him like a Vindaloo chicken curry.
Yeah,
Brozovic is going to take him out.
Right. Mitch, give me a prediction for this game.
I think 2-0. I think there'll be one shitty, scrappy goal and one spectacular goal from Brazil. It's a very safe call, 2-0, I know, but I don't think Croatia will concede so many, because I think the what's the word? The fact that it's such a big game, big event, I don't think Brazil will go guns blazing. I think they will try and sit back a bit more. Yeah, and that's why I think they're going to squeeze the fuck out of Croatia. And
I think they're going to wear them down. I actually agree. I mean, Lucas, I'll get to you in a minute. Yeah. I actually agree. Everything you just said there, I agree with the 2-0. I'm going to say 2-0. I think it'll be Croatia will set up, in a way, and Brazil will just wear them down. Just keep wearing and passing. I think
the defending the far at the back, maybe in Perisic could.
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Lucas, your Balkans.
I was going to say, I totally agree. I think they are going to try to absolutely squeeze us out 1,000%. It's all about just got to keep the concentration, because Brazil, they're not going to be successful the whole time, but it all depends on that one moment where they do squeeze us out, and are they going to put it in when it matters. But I am a bit confident because Vardiol, unreal player. He in my opinion, is probably been the best center. I think he's been the best center half in the World Cup.
Where does he come from though? Because he plays for Leipzig, isn't it?
He used to play for Dinamo Zagreb, and they had to get rid of him because his aspirations are just too big for the league. And he's so good. He's literally about to go to Chelsea for 80 bags, easy. And
unreal.
In my opinion, been the best center half. And Lovren, I don't know where this resurgence has come from with him, but he's also been very solid. I do worry, though, if Borna Sosa doesn't play, they could squeeze us out a bit easier. But, I mean, there's only usually about 3 people on the pitch that don't really keep up with the ball retention mentality. But I think there's a good chance. I'm gonna go 1-1 in full time. But I do think, just because Brazil's bench and their depth is so heavy and so good, I do think they're going to nick a goal in stoppage time. So I'm going to go 2-1 Brazil in extra time.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Quickly, before we move on, just quickly, the right back for Croatia plays for Celtic. I don't want to butcher his name.
We're linked with him, aren't we?
Yeah, we're linked with him. What do you think of him? I'm like 50-50 at the minute. I've seen him.
I know very little of him, but what I know of him, for me, I think we can do better. We can find better.
I agree. I think we can do a lot better than him. But I would say he is. I think I actually told Mitch this. I don't see him as a long-term solution, but like if you needed to turn something around and you needed something quick to fix a solution in a problem that we're having, I think he would be a decent purchase. I think his value right now is like $2.5 million, and after obviously if we beat Brazil somehow, some way, it will probably go up a bit. But and just in short, I feel like why not spend, let's just call it £7 million on a quick solution that we know is going to help us in the season, especially if we do end up getting rid of Soufal or someone.
He's only 20.
Yeah. No, he's not. He's
20.
No, he's older.
He's older than that, but I'll be honest with you, some games I've seen him play, I think he's been all right. I think he's been pretty good. In other games I've seen him play.
Imagine, this is the thing. Imagine Vladimir Soufal, but the ball retention is a lot better. So really, take that for what you will.
Yeah.
Nah, don't want him.
Fair enough. We'll move on though to this game. Now, this game for me is going to be brilliant. I think because I think Ireland. I looked at their price earlier on. They're 13-5 to win this game, and I think that is miles too short. Too big, bigger price to let go. I'll go first on this one. I look at 13-5 against Argentina. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. And I look at Holland, and they haven't played amazing, but they're just winning. Do you know what I mean? So they're playing tournament football properly. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know on this one. I'll go to Lucas first. What do you reckon?
My gambling head says, like, if I were to put money on someone, I'm a big draw no bet guy personally. So I would throw the barrels in Netherlands just because everyone is so hyped on Argentina. It's we all know why, because we're all hoping Messi somehow bring, if it's not England obviously for you guys, but we're hoping Messi brings it home. And but at that price, at those odds, it's ridiculous because Argentina and Netherlands have had the same tournament in my opinion. They've been bang average, like incredibly average. Even Netherlands against the USA, ignore the scoreline. They did what they had to do, but they still weren't impressive in my opinion.
But they are defensively. Yeah. That's one thing with Netherlands. They've got Van Dijk. They've got this Timber at the back there. They've got Dumfries, who's just like absolute beast mode.
He's an absolute unit.
Right? And they've got some good defensive players. And one thing with Holland, especially under Van Gaal, they ain't going to they're going to know how to shut games down.
And they really seem to be liking life under them, so that could bring them a bit of a spark. But my betting head, I would go probably Netherlands. I would pick them to win, but I think this is where Messi shines. This is where he wants to shine. His legacy's on the line, or not really, but some people say. I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be a good match, but I don't think there's gonna be a lot of goals. I think it's gonna be very tense, very edgy. I'm gonna go 1-1 again in full time, and I think Argentina are gonna bring it home on penalties.
You animal. I'm gonna say a draw. I agree on the draw. And I think Argentina will do it. I look at Holland. I just don't see Holland losing in 90 minutes in this game. I really don't. Maybe as the time goes on, they might sort of fade out in extra time. I know people are putting a lot of pressure on Messi, but I don't know. Argentina just haven't clicked for me. Haven't clicked like Brazil, and I just see the draw. I see it going to penalties. I think Argentina have got the better penalty takers than Holland, in my opinion. Mitch,
I've changed my prediction in my head about 4 times now. I've decided I'm going to stick with 2-1. I was thinking 1-0 Netherlands, but I think Argentina have got such good strikers of the ball.
Yeah,
I think they could score. They've got the ability to score. If Netherlands was to sit back and absorb the pressure, I think Argentina have got the ability to just pick a strike out from nowhere or on the edge of the area, which I think they will do. I do think Netherlands will overpower them. I think in the midfield and the attack, I think they're physically better. I think Argentina will struggle. I do. I think 2-1 to the Netherlands.
And
my ancestors.
And again, like it's this one's so hard because really both of them have been so bang average, haven't played that well. So odds saying they're both due to play well. So it is weird. And you know what, Mitch, you do look like De Vrij a little bit from Inter, who's
slightly
who's Dutch. You literally have the same face.
100%.
So don't even deny it. But yeah.
I'm not denying it. I agree.
No, I know. I just don't want you to.
Yeah, but defensively, I've got to be honest. I do think Holland are the better defensive unit. But when you look at their defence, they have got some really, really good defenders. Trust me.
Yeah, like I said, if we're going just strictly off gambling knowledge, the odds, I'd 1,000% go with Holland. 1,000,000,000%.
I think the double chance in this game.
To come through.
I think the double chance in this game, so that's a Holland or the draw. If you get anywhere around even money or just under even money, it's worth it. I look at Argentina. I just don't see Argentina blowing Holland out the water. I'll be stunned.
I agree there, James. I think.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't think Netherlands will lose it in the full 90 minutes.
Messi. Yeah. If Argentina want to win in the 90, I think we're gonna have to see a vintage Messi performance where he just goes in and out of attack to midfield, back and forth, just creating magic.
Yeah, I agree on that. Right, we'll move on to the surprise package, who won a lucky person over $1 million. And it is Morocco versus Portugal. Someone backed Morocco to get to the quarterfinals. They put £90,000 or dollars and won 1.08 million. So whoever it was, fair play to them. They are dancing in the streets or wherever they are at right now. Mitch, I'll start with you. Morocco, impressed?
I think defensively they've set up extremely well.
Yes, brilliant.
I think they have lacked a lot of quality in the final third. I think Ziyech has been really shit. I thought he was going to be his tournament. If Morocco was to do well, I'd have thought Ziyech would have done well.
No wonder why the other manager didn't like him.
Yeah, it's funny because
They've got some good players though.
Morocco are doing so well, but Ziyech, arguably the best player, it's been shit.
Defensively, right?
Defensively, they've been superb.
I looked at their manager. Their manager's only recently come into the role. And he's only been in it. When I say recent, I mean like over the last sort of 6 months, I think it is, or a year. So he's only recently sort of took over in that team, and I think that they haven't conceded a goal.
First African manager to make it to a quarterfinal.
Yeah, and when you look at their team, Aguerd, listen, I watched the game the other day. I literally done a video on it. I was literally had my head in my hands thinking, please don't go down for groin injury, because that's 1 to 3 months in it, let's be honest. But then I see him in the evening dancing and celebrating, so he might be all right, which is a major plus, right? Not just for Morocco, but for us, because we need him back in the team 100%. I like Morocco, yeah. I think this is a step too far, though, for me, massively. I think Portugal will go through this team like they did with Switzerland. I'm quite impressed with Portugal. And
I think 3-0.
Yeah, I actually do feel on this game, Portugal are starting to sort of rev up a little bit. And to me, they have been the dark horses for me. I did a betting show and I said Portugal are the ones to watch out. You look at their team, they've got good players, solid players in all positions, near enough. Like Cancelo, Diaz, like Bernardo Silva, Fernandes, like even up top with Rafael Lau, who can't even get in the team at the minute.
Gonçalo Ramos.
Yeah, and Ramos is another man who we got linked with. Yet again, West Ham got linked with him from Benfica. So I ain't going to say 3-0, I'm going to say 2-0 on this one. I just think it's a job done on this one. Lucas, what are you saying on this?
Oh, interesting matchup. Interesting, because I'll get in line. I'll get in the back of the line with everyone. I'm very impressed with Morocco. They literally defend like their lives depend on it. If they concede a goal, just everyone dies or something. They just refuse to let up a goal. It's brilliant, and that's something I would love to see at West Ham personally. But that's besides the point. Mitch is correct. Not a lot going forward. But the thing is, they have the players. The quality is there. The opportunities have sort of been there.
And Aguerd's been
they
absolutely brilliant.
They defend so well, and they're so focused on defending as a unit. When some of those opportunities come, I just feel like they're not in the correct mind space, because they're focused on just not conceding at any given breath during the 90. But I think I'm going to disagree with you both. I really do believe, as much as Portugal have been impressive and they do have a bunch of great players, I just have a feeling Morocco's dance is not over, and I'm going to go for a shock 2-1 Morocco. And I don't know how they're going to score the 2 goals. They're probably going to be absolutely sweaty, disgusting, filthy. Amrabat's probably going to score a brace or something disgusting like that off.
He has been good.
2 deflections, but there's just something about Morocco, the way they defend as a team. I have a feeling Portugal are going to let some people down. But again, Portugal, their players, they're unreal. I mean, I could watch Bruno. I could watch how could I forget? I could watch Bernardo Silva all day long.
Mate, if he was about to say Bruno Fernandes, then I was about to. Mate, I've got it here, the gun. I was about to put the gun out and stream again. Really close.
Listen,
to it,
I've got to ask you both this. Right, I really have. Put the shooter away. Listen, I've got to ask you this. What did you make of that penalty from Hakimi? Is that probably one of the best penalties that you've ever seen under pressure in your life?
Nah.
I think it has to be Mitch.
I think Pirlo against England as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that was a good penalty.
It takes a big set of balls to do that, but especially against the country he grew up in, which is wild.
Yeah.
That's another thing I've really been enjoying about the World Cup. I love seeing just so much, not even diversity, just I love the stories of how all these players just end up where they were.
Wet
Well, it's like you.
Most of the
It's
time,
like you, Lucas. Like you was USA fan, and now you're a Croatia fan.
I wish it was like that, but
It ain't.
but I love it. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful, mate. Right, move on to the big game. Saturday night. I think everyone will be in the pubs. I'll definitely be in the pub watching this one. England versus France. I'm going to start off with Mitch. Mitch, how do we stop Kylian Mbappè, mate? Because if he turns up, then we've got problems.
I just think
Pray, go to church.
Can Carl Walker? Can Carl Walker deal with him? That's because I think we all know that Carl Walker is going to be the man to sort of try and stop him. Can Carl Walker deal with him for 90 minutes? That's the real question.
It's not just him. It's also him and the right side of the centre half.
Yeah.
Because if he does beat Carl Walker, then it becomes dangerous, and then you're relying on Stones.
Yeah.
So I think people say, "Oh, Walker versus Mbappé," but Mbappe's got to then beat Stones, or take a strike on goal, which Stones is going to have to try and get in the way of. So, yes, I think Walker can cope with him, arguably the best out of any right back in the world. Walker's not as actually, Bebo, I was literally about to say that. He's not quite as quick as what he was, say, a couple of years ago. But he's still quick, and he's still strong. He's still got great recovery pace to get back quicker than most fullbacks in world football. We've got to be really careful.
Could we see a change of system from Southgate on this one?
I think Rice is going to have a big game, because I think Rice, if they do counter-attack us, I don't think Stones will. I don't think Southgate likes his shape, and I think Rice, when England do get counter-attacked, he does like Rice coming across to help the left back out.
He's gonna have to be all over the park, Rice.
Yes, yeah. I think he's having a big game. And
I think you're going to see if Rice can handle the big occasion against the best player.
I look at it a bit of the opposite way. I think this is setting up to be one of those matches where Declan Rice actually plays so well for what's been going on in the match. But let's just say if you do lose, people are going to slate him for no reason. Because I do fear Declan Rice is going to have a lot of cleaning up to do. You're going to have to call him the porter after that. Because he's going to have to pick up for Henderson, who I think will start. He's going to have to pick up for Walker. He's going to have to pick up for everyone, because I feel like there could be a mess.
Could we go for it at the back against this lot? Because that would not surprise me if he tries to sort of. Nah, yeah, I agree. I think we've been too on the front foot, just to try and stop. Because I look at France. Well, I'll give my opinion on it. I look at France. I look at sort of Giroud, and I think Maguire and Stones can handle Giroud. I really do. Yeah, I think Griezmann has been very, very good, very, very gone under the radar as in ability and how good he's been in this World Cup. I think he's been absolutely first class, Griezmann, for what he does, how he sort of builds the play up, and also Dembele. Right, I think both flanks. If you want a good bet for the weekend, get on Luke Shaw to get booked and Carl Walker to get booked, because I think Dembele and Mbappé will roast the pair of them. That's why I'm wondering whether he could go free at the back with wing backs and try and crowd them out, sort of thing, to stop their sort of front line. But
I think the bet to have is Rice, Shaw, and Carl Walker to all get booked. England to win, and under 2 goals. Yeah,
not a bad shout. Right, so I've said about France. What do you think about England now? Because for me, if Jude Bellingham for me is just unreal footballer. No, I just think
got to do a lot of tracking back though, because with the system they play, I think again, it won't Rice sitting deep, covering
the
play. And
what is the formation?
So when Griezmann does press,
Yeah,
bomb up from deep, Bellingham's got to be that player to get on him straight away because Griezmann he's all over the place and Rice can't do that. Rice sits in his position, so it will be Ederson or Bellingham to be on him.
That's why I said this has the fixing for our Rice slating from anyone that isn't West Ham because he is going to be all over the place because he has to.
I think he also has to have the right personnel in there with him. Listen, I'm going to ask you. We're going to go through sort of the team lineup for England, and then we get your prediction. So obviously we're going to go with Pickford in goal. I think we all agree on that. Kyle Walker right back, Stones, Maguire, Luke Shaw for left back. I think it has to be in it. Yeah. Now this is where it gets interesting. If we're playing a 4-3-3, do you stick with that 3-man midfield of Rice, Henderson, Bellingham, or do you change it? Right, Mitch is shaking his head. So, who do you change? Mitch?
I get Henderson out, get Foden in. I fight fire with fire. I don't think the midfield is even that great. I think Tremely's all right, but I don't think Rabiot's all that. I think he looks quite awkward on the balls, quite stiff. So if we press him with like Foden and Bellingham, get on him quick, I think he could crumble. I think So I think the midfield's better than theirs. So we don't need to sit as defensively as what I think we will do. And then I think the front three speaks to itself: Rashford, Kane, and Saka.
Who was up front the other day? Saka, Kane, and it wasn't Rashford. Who was the other one? It's Foden. Yeah, it's Foden, wasn't it? So you're looking at pushing Foden back to midfield, sort of just on the outskirts of midfield, and then going with that sort of attacking lineup. The problem is
pace for this game because if France have the more the ball, which they will, we'll want to hit them on counter, and that's where we need Rashford on the wing.
Yeah. I would say the Foden one's the interesting one because I look at if we can get another midfielder in there, I think we could overrun them in midfield big time. Like, thing is, for me,
who do you want in midfield then?
The game could easily be one in the midfield by you guys.
Yeah. Easy. And I look at it like it's an hard one, really, because who is there? Who else is there for midfield? Really, like, should Mount be in there? Probably not.
So Foden.
And then you look at Foden, but do you lose Foden?
I actually think Mount for this game would not be the worst option, but there is a better midfield three than that. I would say, like, for me, you know how I stand with Jordan Henderson. I don't really give a shit what he did last match. I think he's incredibly overrated, but I think you can do
Phillips
a lot better.
Is a shot.
I was literally just going to say that. I think with Southgate, if you want that perfect mold of stability, shape, and all three are able to either get forward and get back.
That sounds like the perfect girlfriend.
Yeah. I think knowing Southgate and what he likes, I think that midfield three would be perfect. Phillips, Rice, Bellingham. He's going to go Henderson.
Because the way I look at it is, if people are going to be doubling up on Mbappé, that's the first thing. Right, England. I don't think Kyle Walker can handle Mbappé on his own. I think he's going to have help there.
I think he will for 55 minutes.
But the problem is, he will then play Phillips as the right-sided defensive midfielder, which he always has done. Yeah. And Phillips is nowhere near good enough defensively to cope with Mbappé. And for me, there's no point of even having him there, which is why I'm. It's just a tough one. I think he could do well.
But do you lose defensive aspect of the game with Foden in there? Because
to me, I don't think much.
Because to me, that looks more like a 4-2-3-1 system rather than a 4-3-3. If that makes sense. Like if you look at Bellingham, Rice, and then you have Foden in there. Foden is going to be more.
I don't think we have to match up our midfielder there. The midfield is shit. I think so.
But I do think, though, Mitch, one thing I will say on that, I agree. I think France's midfield is poor, but we have to overrun them in midfield. That's the way I look at it. Like, I think if you go 2 for 2 with them, then we're not really gaining anything.
And the midfield three could be dangerous because we all know Griezmann is no 8, but he's playing an 8 right now. So if you get him on the counter as a midfielder going up against Bellingham, Rice, Phillips, or Henderson, he is going to have more technical ability than most midfielders they've come up against, which could be an issue because Griezmann is an absolute baller.
I think you have to stop Griezmann. Like someone said it the other day on I was watching something on YouTube, and they said you've got to stop the supply to Mbappé. If you stop that, you can snuff him out of the game.
It's just a weird conundrum because we all know Henderson's probably going to start.
You can't stop the supply to Mbappé.
And we all know Calvin Phillips, I think, is better defensively than Jordan Henderson, but not by loads. But you do want that leadership on the pitch. So for you guys, it is a bit weird because you do have some good combinations, but I don't necessarily think you have the right one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. Whatever's going to happen is going to be a good game. Obviously, I've been impressed with Dembele. I think Dembele's also been brilliant for them. I think all the front four of France have been really good. Predictions. I'll start off with Lucas. I'll leave Mitchell till last. Lucas, what do you reckon on this one?
Very, very tough. Again, we all know once you get to the quarterfinals, all these predictions are going to be very tough. Minus Portugal, Morocco. Most people will probably go Portugal. But I think the way France have been playing, I think Rabiot, like Mitch said, I don't really think he's that great, but he's been playing out of his skin. And it is a bit hard to predict if he's going to keep going or not. I think they have great cohesion, but England do as well. But I think England just have an issue with never knowing their best lineup, which I think could come back to bite them, even though they have great players. It's a tight one. I think I'm going 2-1 France, and I'm solely just going off the fact that I don't think Kyle Walker or any right back option is going to be able to keep up with Mbappé all match. I think Griezmann playing in the midfield, even though he's not a midfielder, he adds a very dangerous aspect, especially on the counter. And Hugo Lloris has been I think he might be the best goalkeeper in the tournament. I don't want to go Alisson because Alisson hasn't been worked that much. But Hugo Lloris has been playing out of his skin. It's going to be tight, very, very tight. But I'm going to go 2-1 France.
Right. I think this is the banker draw of the whole of the 4 quarterfinals for me. I think it goes all the way to penalties, this game. I think there's nothing really in it. You take Mbappé out of this team, out of France's team. France's team is pretty not all that really. They've got a couple of good players. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you stop Mbappé, you stop France. I see France play Poland the other day. Poland had chances against France, had good chances and all. And on a better day, I think Poland would have got in front and could have caused an upset there. So I'm going to say it's going to be 1-0. I think England score first. I think France will equalise. Then I look at the sort of penalty sides of things. I think England win on penalties. I really do. I think England will get it done on penalties. I think Jordan Pickford and Hugo Lloris, penalties, I think Jordan's will be more up for it. I look at France, I look at their bench, and I think when some of their players are coming off the bench, I don't think they're going to be on it for penalties. When I do look at England's bench, I think England's bench is a bit stronger than France's, if I'm being honest. So I think England might just get it done on penalties and get through. So I'm going to say 1-0, England to win on penalties. Mitchell.
They play free midfield. They play Griezmann there as well. I think 2-0.
Ooh. Why do you think 2-0, Mitch?
I don't think we've got the minerals to keep a clean sheet against France.
I've got to ask you this, Mitch. I'll ask you this question quickly. Do England need to score first in this game?
If we want to, no, I don't think so. No.
No.
No, I think
it'd be more dangerous if you scored first. Personally,
I think they just want to come at you more hungry. They're not a kind of team to sit down and feel sorry for themselves. They're the type of team, if you score against them, they go, all right, boys, this is it. Let's fucking go for it now. And they can just switch like that. Yeah, I don't think we have to score first.
Right.
If we score first, yeah, we've got a decent chance to win the game. I think we've got a decent chance of winning the game. But my prediction is 2-2. I think we will struggle defensively. Well,
Yeah, no, that's a good comment. Yeah, Ian's saying we're going to stuff those French eating stuff. So you say 2-2, then what happens?
That's like
Mitch?
the most American comment I've ever seen, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. So it goes 2-2, Mitch. What you're saying after the game's finished 2-2 and it goes to extra time penalties?
Fortunately, my incredible football intelligence doesn't span that far. So beyond that, it's a bit of a blur for me. No comment.
He don't want to say. So I think he wants to say that France are going to win on pens, you know what I mean? But he doesn't want to say it.
No comment.
For me, I think if England win this game, England get to the final, and I think England win the World Cup. If you want me to be honest, and I would be strongly advising that. I think this game will prove if England are there. I think all 4 games we've played so far, you look at Iran, England should be expected to beat Iran. The USA, I called it, and I said we just never beat the USA, so it's always going to be a banker draw for me. And the Wales game, I think we could have put our fourth choice side, and we'll still beat Wales. The Senegal game, I've got to be honest, I thought that would be a bit of a tougher test than it actually was, and I think England just went straight through Senegal, no problem.
I don't actually remember any of the game.
Yeah, no, you're probably too pissed to remember, mate. Too pissed to remember. But I do think this game will prove if England are that side that we think they are. Do you know what I mean? I think if England go and knock France out of the World Cup, then to me, England could definitely get to the final. I think England beat either Morocco or Portugal, in my opinion. And England could win it. England, listen, no one can. I see what Razor says here. He says, behave, James. I always behave, Razor, for you, son. Right? But no one can say that we haven't looked bad this World Cup. We've looked pretty good. And if you was to say who's been your top 3 sides in the World Cup this year, England will be in there. So you've got to look here and you've got to weigh it up. I think if England beat France, then I think we've got a great chance. I really do of winning it.
You know, it's weird because I don't really think there's been a lot of good tests this World Cup. I think everyone has handled their business the way they should. I think maybe bar Brazil. Brazil have had I'm not going to say the killer instinct, but like and Portugal, when they get up, they don't stop scoring. But it's been a weird World Cup. Like I said, just no one has really outperformed themselves, if that makes sense. They've done what they've needed to do.
I think there's no way in hell that we don't score. I think we 100% score at least a goal against France.
Yeah. I do. Listen, I'm going to ask you this before we wrap this up, because Traitor's he's on at 9 o'clock, and I've got to watch that because that gets all my anger out. Who wins the World Cup for you then? Because this is the quarterfinals. We've got the semi-finals, obviously Tuesday, Wednesday, and the finals next Sunday.
Croatia.
Right, Mitch. All right, you go with Croatia.
Brazil. Brazil's my pick. Brazil look the most dangerous. They have the best
I think the route they've got as well. I think it's all going for them. And yeah.
Possible interesting semi-final though. Argentina versus Brazil. South American sort of.
And shout out to Copa America, the U.S., Canada, and Mexico are about to be in it.
I think Netherlands versus Brazil is more interesting. That sounds crazy. Yeah. I think Brazil would actually do Argentina. They're everything Argentina want to be. Brazil. Argentina everything. So Brazil are everything Argentina wants to be, but better.
Yeah, I understand it. The one thing I will say about Brazil, right? Don't get me wrong. The South Korea game the other day, I thought they just went straight through that team. Because that team was very, very naive. But I watched them against Serbia, And Serbia frustrated them for a larger periods of that game. Right, they really did, and Switzerland did.
Those
Switzerland,
Balkan
even
bastards.
though Switzerland literally had them contained for a long time until Casemiro scored in like the 80th minute. So I don't know. I think if you frustrate Brazil, you've got half a chance. I think if Brazil go up then early, I think then it's all over.
We can say things about every team, though, James.
Yeah, you really could. You know
It's been that tight. Like I said, there hasn't been many teams this World Cup that have outperformed themselves.
I agree. And let's just hope none of them get injured. That's what I'm going to say. Right, I'm going to wrap that up there. Lucas, thank you very much for coming on tonight and giving me your in-depth analysis on Croatia.
Absolutely.
I really do appreciate it. Mitchell, it's good to see you, son. Thank you for coming on.
No
do you know what I mean?
Thanks for having me.
And thank you very much for everyone who's tuned in tonight. I really do appreciate it. Smash a like on the video. Goes a long way. Hit the notification bell because I always forget. And please do subscribe to the channel. That goes a long way also.
Thank you, Steve, for the kind donation. Much appreciated.
Yeah, sup, Steve.
Yeah, big up to Steve, man. Listen, I do appreciate it.
We're loving it.
It goes, we are. And Christmas is coming. You know what I'm saying? Will England win on Saturday night? I do hope so, because I will be in the pub. Mitch, are you going to the pub on Saturday night?
I shall, yeah.
Yeah? Well, me and Mitchell will probably be dancing in the streets of like Essex somewhere on that good old Saturday night. Or we're crying in our kebab and chips. It's either going to be one or the two. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, have a good Thursday evening wherever you are, and I will see you again in the next one. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.